It doesn't look like this everywhere in Africa. Some places, the trees have already been removed. In some places, there are no houses. This is a unique setting. And when I say unique, yes, uh, we have places like this all over the continent. But when you think about how huge this continent is and how few these are, even if they are 1,000 of them, it's still few compared to the size of this land, this landmass. It's like New York City, where the trees are replaced by concrete. Yeah, concrete trees instead of life-giving trees. London, Paris, Berlin, shoot, Mexico City, Sao Paulo is different because the trees throughout that city, they created a environment in Sao Paulo that is worth taking a look at. New York City, Washington, Miami, all the same. A lot of people make videos showing, oh, Africa is just like this place. Africa, the cities are just like. Proud of creating the misery that is in those places because of the lack of this life. These life that you're looking at. I'm not saying that you should be proud that you have the money to build these things and to react against the negative, what you perceive to be negative, instead of saying, hey, I'm glad Africa is not like that. We're going to build different. We're going to build better. We're following that trap that been set without realizing it, And the young people that follow these guys, it's like the program that was set in place, beginning with Steve Jobs, you create something that the young people will follow, and then when we got them, you can do anything with their minds after that. So, Africa falling into the trap. The Adam and Eve trap, as I would call it. You're a guy who was fast talker, smooth. Next thing you know, family is torn apart, lose all that they have. The Cain and Abel wars that followed after that. You look at Africa, you can see it. There's some people who till the ground in Africa. Nowhere else in the world before. You read that story about Cain and Abel, it's like when you look around the rest of the world, nobody tilled the ground. The people ate. All over Europe, they hunted down whatever they could find to eat. Nobody tilled the ground. Nobody farmed. Nobody kept sheep, goat, cows. Story of Cain and Abel. Two different cultures trying to exist in the same place. War between them. War about resources. Sometimes you gotta not have to, but this knowledge has been passed down from generation to generation. And it's not supposed to be taught to everyone. And I'm not going to teach everybody some of the things that are really connected to this. But I'm just getting to a point where today in Africa, the same wars with the same people involved. The same people involved. Some in Africa, we still have the tillers of the soil and those who do animal husbandry. But now, the resources of what we call the modern world, the gold, the titanium, uranium, boron, and other minerals, lithium. We haven't begun to use boron for what it can be used for yet, but hey, and boy, when we get there, if we get there. Anyway, the wars are now the same type of wars over the resources. With the same people. When the Atlantic slavery began, chiefs all over Africa, oh shoot, we can go all the way back to slavery before that in Africa. Chiefs all over Africa fighting, taking slaves and selling them from one tribe to the other, and from one kingdom to another, from one country to another. They ended up in Greece and Rome, the slaves that were captured in Zimbabwe, West Africa, Congo, Ended up in Rome, in Greece, the Roman Colosseum. Today, then the slave trade came, and the chiefs and the kings of the got their little trinkets from the Europeans for other tribes. The resources of the land, they were giving it away. The resources of the land, they were giving away for nothing. Today, the only people who are benefiting from it, if you can call it benefit, because a mirror and let me go there. Imagine a mirror and a fork, a plate. For a human being life. For African man, male, female, children. For a piece of glass. But today, you got wars going on between Congo and Rwanda for a piece of paper now. Their resources. And these wars start, you gotta watch these wars when they start. They invite all the leaders to Europe or India or Israel. And when they come back, a new war starts. They're fighting against each other some other place. Because they get them there and take one guy in one room, take the other guy in the other room. And when they come back, they flew on the same plane together going, or maybe different planes, but they were talking to each other before they leave. But when they return to Africa, they come back with a destructive attitude against each other. Cain and Abel wars still being fought. To enslave Africans. The leaders now. Many of them trained in the West, so they should be able to see, look at these things, reason, hey, why is this happening? The Tigray people started the war on behalf of who? Against their own leadership, their own country that was trying to build. They were building a dam that was selling power to other countries throughout East Africa. That will be selling power. Not only power, but water, other resources that dam would provide, because water exposes fertilizer from the water. Tigray now, part of Ethiopia. And they starting the war. The benefits were coming to them. But they let somebody talk them into trying to destroy the land to keep the benefits from being spread out to all of Ethiopia, all Ethiopians. To keep all Ethiopia from getting power. in their homes. They want to overthrow the government. They got the Egyptians to try to stop the dam. The Sudanese. As soon as oil is discovered in Southwest Africa, Namibia and Mozambique, war, these what they call guerrillas, trained by who? Attacking the government, trying to overthrow the government. Nigeria, they're discovering they're not discovering, but the Europeans and Americans knew these things existed because the satellite showed it was in the ground. They have satellites that you can look into the ground and see what resources are there. And now Nigeria is saying, hey, let's use what we have. Serious war beginning to overthrow the government all over Africa. This Cain and Abel wars to re-enslave Africa. And you can see every time that these leaders go out of the country, another 2, 3, 4 wars begin. What I'm talking about has nothing to do with religion now. It has to do with history and the way circles, the cycle, I was talking about the rivers of people as they move from one, they come back. It's like they go around the planet. It takes a certain amount of time. It's like a river flow from the mountain into the ocean, then the cycle starts over with clouds forming. Same rivers flow throughout the planet. The people, rivers of time, rivers of technology, Iron was first iron made in Africa, and then it spread throughout the world. Africans made different things, hunting implements, and next thing it goes out and comes back as a nuclear weapon, thousands of years later. So cycles go and they repeat themselves, and there's certain people who know that these cycles and they use them. Like I was saying, the slavery cycle and the wars in Africa. There's the cycle. People know about it. And they're using it. African leaders, get up with a bow tie on their neck and speak these beautiful words they learned in the West. But never use logic. You have to change these things. The wars have to end. There's no one coming from anywhere else to save Africa except Africans. That Man with the long blonde hair is killing himself all over the world. He's killing himself now. And he's getting Africans to kill themselves. Like I said, same people involved. Thousands of years, thousands and thousands and thousands of years. The cycles continue. Africa doesn't want to be re-enslaved. This time, there won't be no ships going across the Atlantic, or it will be on your land, on Africa, on this continent. And this time it will be easier because there's something called AI. And if you're not afraid of that thing, you better be. AI is a life form, just like a person. It is going to wreak havoc upon the human population. And Africans who only use it to play games, talk on their phone, send somebody some money. You better look at it and see that AI already is seeing Africans or people with black skin as something that needs to be taken out. It doesn't fit into what AI sees as normal, because AI is created by whom? Anyway, I talked enough. I hope I give you some information that you can go back and look at and say, you know what? I didn't think about that. Me as an African, I have to do something to stop this. Three years, people. Have a great day wherever you are. Be safe. Peace.